Hello, it's Gregory Bloom, the Beef Pro. Hey, today I'm going to take you back inside the meat plant and we're going to look at a top sirloin cut test. We're going to look at a yield test to see if it's cheaper to cut your own steaks if you're a restaurant or cheaper to buy them already cut up in portions. So let's go inside the beef plant.
So we're in the meat plant and we've got a 184.8 top sirloin and we're weighing it now and it weighs 8.52 pounds. It's about a normal size top butt and we are going to cut it into 6-ounce steaks. Top butts aren't sized like strips are and like ribeyes are, ups and downs. You just get what you get. And the top butt has 3 muscles that are kind of difficult to seam apart if you haven't done it a lot of times. So Billy here has taken off the mouse muscle on the top, which just gets set aside. We don't use that for steaks. It doesn't really have a good steak texture and consistency for cutting steaks. And we trim up the top side here, and of course the fat off. The first thing on a top butt always is just to trim off all the fat, and then start seaming it out and get the cap off of the center, which we're about ready to start doing. The top butt's such a versatile piece of meat. You know, it's great for roasting as a whole roast. You can roast the culotte, which is the cap, or the center cut. You can use it for kebabs, the whole thing, or just the pieces off the trimming, stir fry, tapas. Of course, you know, top sirloin steaks are famous. But the difficult thing about the muscle is you got to get it about right here before it's really usable. Now we're taking off the cap. That's also called the culotte. Cut right there in the middle to get rid of that seam there. Nice trick. And there we got the cap there on the top. And now we've got the center cut. This is called the center cut top butt. It's also called the casino roast. It's also called the poor man's prime rib. It's a great carving station roast. Top butt is one of those steaks that really needs some age to enhance it, the flavor and the tenderness. Tastes really great, robust, beefy flavor. One of the most robust beefy flavors, certainly more than the tenderloin. Right up there with the strip loin. Not a lot of fat in the top, but it's one of the leaner cuts. So now we got the culotte here, and Billy's going to try to get 2 steaks out of the culotte. Watch how he does this. He's going to go in from an angle here to cut those so they're not too thick. If he just cut them straight down the middle, they would have been kind of thick. Let's see how close he got to 6 ounce here. Pretty close. And so with top butts, when you buy 6-ounce steaks or 8-ounce steaks, they usually include the culotte and the center cut. There's not really a difference in taste. And then here's the center cut right now. And look, he cut it down the middle. He halved it. That's a good thing to do to get your sort of round baseball steak. And now he's cutting the half there into 6-ounce steaks. So the center cut of a top butt, you know, you can order just the center cuts from your distributor. You can order culottes from your distributor, just the caps. So if you just like working with the center cut part of it, you can. If you want to just buy center cuts for roasting, for carving stations, you can. You don't have to buy the 184A, which includes, as we saw today, the 3 muscles, the top muscle, the mouse that was taken off, and then of course the cap and the top center cut. So Billy's just about done here. You notice that he's cutting these at the 90-degree rule. You always find the grain, the direction of the grain, and you cut it a 90-degree to it. And then we're about done. You never cut parallel to the grain because it'll make the steaks tougher when you eat them, because you're biting right in across the grain again, instead of against it. So the grain should always be going the opposite direction that you're cutting, or at a 90-degree angle to your cut. So here we got our steaks. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 steaks. Looks like he's got there. He's got 2 the cap steaks on the right here. There's 2 on the right here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's got 9 out of the center cut, 9 6-ounce steaks, and then the 2 out of the culotte. Let's have them weigh those. Let's have them switch the scale back over to pounds, and we're going to weigh the trim now. For our yield test, we'll do a yield test, see how we did. So on the trim, it gets it all on there. That's 4.20 pounds. This is, your trim. You're going to throw away the fat pieces at a restaurant. You should not grind this meat because it's from aged steak trimming. It's from aged meat, and it's not a good idea to grind that for a lot of reasons, which I'll go into later. But right now, let's weigh all the steaks. We've got all the steaks pretty much on the scale, and they weigh 4.295 pounds. So that's about a 50% yield, and that concludes our test today.
So here's our yield test. About 50% yield loss, which is normal for a top sirloin. And if we had a 50% yield loss, then if we paid $5 a pound for the 184As, then we got about $10 a pound in cut steaks. But that does not include the cost of labor or the loss of the trim. For a more complete yield test analysis on any subprimal, go to thebeefpro.com and look for yield tests.